Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and of course today we are here to review AFL Fantasy for round 19, and overall I thought it was an okay week for me. Overall I scored 2,196, which brings my rank to 14,224. So look, not the greatest, but I'm going to take it. Now the round rank was 12,023, so that's pretty decent, better than my overall rank. Now a couple of really good players over the weekend. Nasai Wanganeen-Miller, I brought him in late for Connor Rosie, who was ruled out. 151, what a performance from him, so a great choice there. Max Holmes with the 121, you love to see that. Lockie Whitfield in his first game for the team with the 109. Nick Dacos 162 was brilliant in that game against the Dockers. Tom Green with the 110. Max Scorn and Rowan Marshall both with 100 pluses. Matt Kennedy returned to form with the 104. Chad Warner as well with the 107, and Peatling with the 97. Love to see all of that. Now there were a couple of lesser lights throughout the weekend. Tom Stewart with the injury only got 50. McKercher had a pretty poor performance against the Swans, if I'm being honest, and 74 wasn't great. Lowest score of the year for Bailey Smith with the 70. Jordan Dawson as my captain, not a good decision on my end. He only got 88, so that was 176. Chera with the 73, really disappointed with that. Rankin with the 66. Caleb Daniels 76. Got to really look to get rid of him in the next couple of weeks. But let's get to my brother's team over the weekend as well. So my brother's team had a pretty good week as well. He did score lower than me though. A couple of good players though that he did have. He had Jordan Clark with the 93, good performance from him. Midfield did disappoint a little bit, but he did have Brodie Grundy as his captain with the 129 to 258, so that's pretty decent, but overall not a very good week from him at all. If it wasn't for Nasai Wanganeen-Miller, his defense stood up pretty well, and the captaincy call, would have had a pretty poor week. He also had Rory Laird in his midfield. I don't know what he's done to his team, dude. He's got so many midfield defenders in his, and he's got 3 midfield defenders in his midfield. He's got Taj Houghton in his team. Bro, what's he done to his team? I don't know what he... Anyway, I guess I can't just sit here and rib on him for the whole episode. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. Zach Butters, not a good performance from him with the 76. Jordan Dawson as well, pretty disappointing. He also had Brian Myers. That's probably one of his better performers, if I'm being honest. And Taj Houghton, I've really got to ask him why he's got him in his actual team, but that's a question for another day, I guess. So now let's get to our trades for the week. So my trades at this stage are going to be Johnson out for Lorenz and Stewart out for Lockie Ash. Now, this depends on if Tom Stewart is injured. I'll probably change that trade for Peatling out if Tom Stewart is still in the team, but at this stage I'm going with Lockie Ash. He seems like the consistent performer throughout the year. I actually looked at it, was a little bit surprised by this, but he scored over 100 plus in every single game after round 2, I believe. So in great form, has been very consistent throughout the year. So I'm going to go with Lockie Ash as the defender, and Johnson was played as a sub last week for Essendon, so I think it's about time to get rid of him. Will Lorenz looks like he's going to get some minutes for Port Adelaide going into the rest of the season, so he's the midfield reserve that I'm going to be picking up. There weren't really many other options on the reserves list at this stage of the year that could generate a little bit more cash towards the end of the season, so Lorenz is the guy I'm going to be going with at this moment in time. If my trade does change, it's probably going to be Peatling, maybe Adam Chera, that does slide out of the team, and I may even go for a Bontempelli type. I'm just waiting to see. Maybe Zach Butters, but after that performance last week, I'm probably a little bit hesitant to go with that one, especially going up against the Crows this week. So we just have to wait and see. But my brother's trades for this week are Johnson out for Max Heath, and he's got rid of Tom Stewart as well for Marcus Bontempelli. Now, he has told me that he will change this trade if Tom Stewart is in, so I'll have to wait and see on that front. But like I mentioned a moment ago, has a lot of midfield defenders in his midfield, so pretty easy straight swap there. Marcus Bontempelli in insane form this year since his return really from injury, and I think he's had one game where he got severely tagged against the Saints where he scored poorly, but other than that, he has been so consistent throughout the year, so don't mind that trade at all. Has 61k left, so we just have to wait and see if he can use those players to get rid of and get out, and then try and bring in some premium players towards the end of the season. I'm kind of looking towards that at this stage as well. I've got a couple of rookies that I can trade out to get some good cash in at this stage, which I'm really happy with. I've also got 138k left in the kitty, so I should be okay to get a couple of really good players in the next couple of weeks, but I think there's a couple of trades that I've probably shouldn't have made throughout the mid-year, which has been a bit disappointing. I think probably at the end of the season, of the regular season with the fantasy all done, may even do like a review of the whole year for fantasy and see where I've gone wrong, where I went right. So maybe an idea, if you guys enjoyed that, that may like that idea, then make sure to let me know down below. But finally, of course, we have to take a look at the channel's ranked ladder, of course, and the Cheetah Cubs is still holding on to the top spot. Not much movement in the top 10 so far this week. Cheetah Cubs still sitting in first, the Welshman in second, third is Len Never Pretends, Delusional Fools in fourth, Nader's Nippers, that's a name I haven't seen, I don't think, this season at all. I haven't really been looking at that one. He's jumped all the way into fifth spot with 2,392, a brilliant performance from him. Jumps into the top five, gives himself a bit of a chance. What's the top score? So the Cheetah Cubs leads at the moment by nearly 200 points on the Welshman, so he's got a very high score at the moment, so it's going to be tough to chase him down, but not too bad at the moment. Tex Wonkers in sixth, Knick Knack Paddywhack, love the name, in seventh, and Goonaville in eighth. I think it's my favorite name of the top 10 so far, but that's pretty much there. So let's look down the list where I'm ranked, and my brother's only just in front of me. He did jump into 40th spot after his performance over the week. Swans rules, not good enough from you, dude. You're a Swan supporter, you got to do better than that. Scored 1,937 this week. I don't know how that happened. He must have just had a couple of really bad performers there. He dropped all the way down, it looks like, after, 200 less points than a couple of us there, not the greatest. So how far am I away from my brother? It's nearly 100 points the difference, so not too much. I feel like I can catch that up. Seymour Bush, my favorite name, in the 45th spot, was part of the league last year as well. Hasn't had as good a year this season, but 45th spot. He's starting to climb the ladder though. Had a pretty good week, had a better score than me, so that's not exactly a massive achievement, but good on him for keeping up the fight. And at this stage, still trying to finish in the top 40. I think I can do that. The guy in 39th spot right now, Hung Nguyen, always hungry, don't mind the name. He is 140 points, 130 points in front of me, so not too far away. I think I can catch that up. But at this stage, in 43rd spot, not the worst. It's about mid-table. Would like to be a little bit higher than that, but I think my team's in a pretty decent spot going into the rest of the year. That's all I can really hope for at this stage. But guys, that's pretty much all we've got for the review for AFL Fantasy this week. Of course, make sure to let me know down below your trades going into next round, of course. And like I said, also let me know if you'd like a whole review of the whole season at the end of the year or end of the regular rounds for the AFL. But that is all from me, guys, so we'll catch you all in the next one.